In today's video I'm going to show you the roses that I've put into what I call the lower side garden. My last video showed you which varieties of rose I had planted in my side garden. As I explained to you then, it's early spring, mid to early April 2026, and I've got newly planted roses as well as some that have been in the ground a few years now, and I wanted to just show you so that you know the layout of the beds for reference for later on in the year when the roses start to come out. So this is the first of the beds here, which I class as the lower side garden, and that takes us down to the beginning of the gravel path up to here where it goes out onto the lawn. And then just panning back, I also class this part of the garden in this area as part of the lower side garden as well. So if we start here this morning, and I'll tell you which roses we have. So this little one is Eustacia Vi, and behind that I have a rose that's been here for a few years now and is a lovely rose. She always performs really well. I know that some people have issues with this one going a bit floppy when the stems are heavy with blooms, but I think as she gets older and gets some more established canes, she does seem to be a lot better with that issue, and that's Litchfield Angel. Behind her I have a climbing rose, which is James Galway. He was moved earlier this year through necessity of us doing our water feature, so that's the one that's against the white of the tree. It's just quite a small shoot at the moment coming out, and to the side of that I have a rose called Honeybee. That's a new rose. And then coming back, this one with the red petals, red leaves, is a hybrid tea called Savoy Hotel. Moving further forward, I have got a rose called Nina, which is a lovely white flower with a really massive bloom. And then we have the David Austin Queen of Sweden, which most people know. And behind that I have a fairly established shrub. I gave that a good prune this year, and that one's called Port Sunlight, with a beautiful apricot bloom. To the back of that one, and the last rose in this bed, is another David Austin rose called Charlotte, a lovely yellow rose. Okay, so we'll move on to the other main part of the bed. So I've come around the other side because I'm finding that I'm standing in the shade of shading all of the roses really, because it's early in the morning, and I was stood on the east side, so the sun was behind me, so I've now got the sun in front of me, which hopefully will make things easier for you viewing. So the first rose here is called Polo, and that's a lovely white rose. It's a hybrid tea. Then moving along, we've got Olivia Rose Austin, and then next to that one I have a rose called Pink Peace, and then next to this one we have another Olivia Rose Austin, but she's quite a well established rose, so she's starting to bud up now. She'll probably be one of the first roses in the garden to bloom. She usually is. And then I have a very young baby Gabriel Oak, and next to the Gabriel Oak I've got another Honeybee. Next to that one we have Timeless Pink, and then I have a new rose. I bought it last year as a bare root rose, and that one is called Lavender Lassie, so I'm quite excited to see what this one will be like this year. Looking forward to seeing those lavender blooms. And then here I have Princess Alexandra of Kent, and at the end here I have a James Galway, and that one's getting some nice leaves and new growth on it. So I'm going to go through the middle of the bed now, telling you what I have here. So this one here is Queen of Sweden, and at the front here, or at the back from where we're stood, is a rose called Marlis, and it's a Poulsen rose, and it has lovely pink hybrid tea, really large blooms. Across from there is Boscobel, a young Boscobel, and in the middle I have a lovely pinky, dark pink, almost red cottage garden rose that I've never really known the name of, but it's very fragrant. And then across from that one is the anniversary rose. Okay, so moving along, we have Timeless Purple and Gentle Hermione, and then a young Eustacia Vi, so we'll come back to the other 3 roses that are along the front there, because I can't quite see their labels and they're fairly young roses. So going back this way, the rest of the roses here, we've got Polo, which is a hybrid tea, and next to that, newly planted this year, we have Ebb Tide, back over Olivia Rose Austin, and then this one is a young Gabriel Oak, and next to that, William Shakespeare, another young rose, and at the end I have one called Burgundy Ice. I'm just going to show you the whole of this bed from this sort of direction. So as you can see, once these roses start to bulk up, this bed is going to be pretty full. A riot of colour, hopefully. So I'll just pop round the other side and just give you the names of those other 3 that are furthest away from us. So coming back then this way, we actually have another rose here, Timeless Pink. So then along here next to the tree, we've got a climbing rose, and that one is Blush Noisette. Sorry, I'll see if I can get out of the picture. Blush Noisette, and that's going to climb up this silver birch tree hopefully. And next to that one we have Lovely Parfuma, just starting to sprout. And then the last one along here, oh, I think I probably already told you that one. That one's the Boscobel. Okay, so there's quite a lot of roses in there. Again, as I said with the other bed, I wanted to get the roses quite closely planted, get lots of mulch down, and I've put the wood chips down as well, because last year this bed was full of self-seeded perennials really, which I just don't want here. It's just too much competition for the roses. So hopefully they'll fare a lot better this year. This morning there's been lots of birds out eating the few green fly that have started to develop on the buds. Hopefully they'll keep them in check this year. Okay, so I'll sign off for now. So that is the second part of my garden bed early spring tour, and that is the lower side garden.